Hi folks, Padre Phil here again. How do you see the world? My hobby is photography, and I confess I'm still using one of these things here, a large and heavy digital SLR. Now I could talk about photography all day long, so I'll try not to bore you now. But cameras like this one, and older cameras like this one, all work on the principle of having different lenses. And you can change those lenses and therefore change how you see the world. You have lenses like this one. This is a telephoto lens. The purpose of a telephoto lens is to make things look closer to you. It makes small things look big. It picks out little details in a big scene and magnifies them to look important. I think some of us are prone to seeing the world through a telephoto lens. So even an event 8,000 miles away in a different country, in a different political climate, somehow seems bigger and more important to us here and now. The problem with a telephoto lens view of the world is that it tends to ignore the bigger picture. Everything apart from that small detail is cut out of the view. We focus down onto one issue and make it bigger than it needs to be. That's the problem with a telephoto worldview. There are other lenses too. This one is a wide-angle lens. The purpose of this lens is to get as wide a view as possible, to cram in as much as possible of what is going on around you. But there is a problem with this lens too. In a picture, it's often difficult to tell what is important and what is not. Is the tree at the top right the important thing? Or the person at the bottom left? Is it the lake in the middle or the mountain at the back? This is what I call a tolerance lens. It attempts to make everything of equal importance. Every view, every opinion, every idea carries the same weight. However, unless you're careful with a wide-angle lens on how you compose your view, then your picture is in danger of making no sense at all. My last lens is the one on the camera. It's a 50mm lens, or a normal lens. It sees the world exactly as your eye sees it. Admittedly, it's a bit of a boring lens. But the fact remains that of all the successful and most influential photographs in history, some 75% of them were taken with a normal lens. This is the truest representation of the world around us. In photography, every lens that isn't a normal lens produces a distorted view of what you're seeing. That can be creative, of course, but it can also produce an untrue image. What lens are you using to view the world? I'm in danger of boring you with photography, I know, but I have one more photography point to make. Cameras, like this one, a digital SLR, are about to become obsolete. The new breed of digital and mirrorless cameras don't look through the lens in the same way that an SLR does. Instead, they project a digital image onto a screen, just like your smartphone. What you see is a filtered, created electronic picture. And this is, of course, how we all seem to be interacting with the world these days, through electronic devices like phones and computers and iPads. We use things like social media and Facebook, Twitter and Instagram and others as our lens on which we see the world. We don't seem to connect in the real world anymore. Instead, even in the public arena, people seem to wander around attached to their phones and to their social media. Our reactions to the world are being conditioned by a digital view, often a false or distorted view of the world. Our opinions on issues like race, gender, climate change, identity, politics, education, religion are being formed through our interaction with a small screen and not with real people. A screen that pretends it's giving us a normal view of the world when in fact it's not, and the evidence already exists. of the dangers of viewing the world this way. So what is the best lens with which to view the world? In photography, the lens choice comes down to the creator of the image. What I do as a photographer, what I want you to see in my pictures. So in any worldview, we need to consider the creator. What does the creator of all that we see want us to know? The Bible tells us that we're all created in the image of God. The most important relationship we can have is not with our phones or with social media. It is with the God who created the world. Only by viewing things through his eyes will we be presented with a true picture of the world around us. Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." This should be our normal in a world of distorted views. God bless. Ta-ta for now.